carried the smell of rain and wood smoke as Marcus walked the long dirt road toward the college. His boots sank slightly into the soft earth where the last storm had left its mark. The autumn sky above was the color of steel, promising another downpour before nightfall. He kept one hand near the hilt of his sword, more from habit than immediate threat. These roads were not safe. Not anymore. The Shadow Court's reach had grown longer with each passing season, their black-bannered patrols haunting the trade routes like wolves following a scent. Marcus had been a soldier once, not for gold or glory, but because he couldn't abide injustice when he saw it. The wars had left him with more scars than coin, but he carried himself with the quiet assurance of someone who had survived worse than most could imagine. As the road curved through a stand of skeletal birch trees, he thought of home, of the little farming village where he'd been raised. The people there had no real defenses, just old hunting boughs and the will to stand together. The Shadow Court would devour them in a day if it ever came to that. The thought tightened his jaw. It was part of why he had come this far. He sought knowledge, answers, perhaps even allies. At the college, rumors had reached his ears of strange magic, ancient orders, and a gathering darkness older than the Shadow Court itself. He needed to know if they were true. His pack was light, a bedroll, a flask of water, dried meat, and the leather-bound journal where he kept notes from his travels. The wind sighed through the birch trees as Marcus followed the road toward the cottage. Damp leaves clung to his boots. He kept glancing at the folded letter in his mind's eye, its short warning burning into him. Do not trust the woman in the red cloak. Up ahead, where the road narrowed into a shadowed pass between moss-covered boulders, a shape stood half hidden among the trees, tall, still as carved stone, its cloak drawn up to hide its features. Marcus slowed, his hand brushing the hilt of his sword, friend or foe. He called the figure didn't move at first, then stepped forward just enough for a shaft of wan autumn light to catch the glint of eyes beneath the hood. That depends. The voice was deep, steady, on whether you listen. Marcus tilted his head slightly, studying him, listening. The figure's gaze didn't waver. You're on your way to see the old woman in the cottage. It wasn't a question. Marcus narrowed his eyes. How do you know that? She's been waiting for you, the stranger said. And she is not what she seems. The man's voice carried no urgency, no pleading, just certainty, the kind that didn't need convincing. Why warn me? Marcus asked, because I've seen her work before. Men walk in with purpose. They walk out. If they walk out at all, with their purpose twisted into something else entirely. The figure took a step closer. Do not take food from her. Do not drink her water. And above all, a faint gleam showed from beneath the hood, eyes catching the light like a predator's. Do not trust her words. Marcus studied him for a long moment. And if I ignore you, the figure's mouth twitched, not quite a smile. Then you'd better pray your soul is strong enough to survive what she'll do to it. Before Marcus could respond, the hooded man stepped back into the shadows. The birches swayed, branches whispering in the wind. And he was gone. He was gone. Marcus Marcus stood there for a moment, staring at the empty spot between the trees. His grip tightened on his sword. Whoever that was, his warning had the weight of truth. He continued toward the cottage, but the words followed him like a shadow. It was a weather-worn cottage, leaning as if tired of standing moss slicked its stones. And the roof sagged like a spine bent under the weight of years. Smoke curled lazily from a crooked chimney, warm against the damp night. A voice drifted through the rain. "Come in, traveler, and be welcome." Marcus froze. The voice was soft, velvety, too inviting for a night like this. His hand dropped to the hilt of his sword. "You saw me coming. I see all who wander where they shouldn't." The voice purred. The door creaked open on its own, spilling golden firelight into the mud inside. The hearth burned bright, but the shadows clung unnaturally high along the walls. Bundles of strange herbs hung from the rafters, filling the air with a bitter, heavy scent. From the far corner, she stepped into view. Her beauty was arresting. Pale skin, black hair that spilled like ink over a gown that shimmered as if wet. But her eyes, they were deep voids swallowing firelight instead of reflecting it. "You're far from home," she said, circling him with slow, deliberate grace. "I can give you warmth, strength, purpose." Marcus tracked her movements carefully, his stance shifting just enough to keep her in front of him. "I already have purpose." Her smile deepened, almost pitying. "Do you?" "I see a man worn thin by the road, haunted by the weight of the lives he's failed to save. Men like you break, Marcus." His eyes narrowed. "Funny. I'm still standing." She drifted closer, her voice brushing his ear like cold silk. "For now, but I can make you more. Strip away weakness, banish doubt. No more hesitating in the moment that matters. No more graves dug because you weren't strong enough." He turned to meet her gaze directly. And the cost. Her lips curved into something sharper than a smile. "Only what you've already lost." "I'll keep what's mine," he said back. "You have nothing that's yours anymore," she hissed, the softness gone from her tone. "But I will give you claws to rend and teeth to tear. You will run down my enemies and bring me their screams." "You're insane," Marcus said, stepping back. "And if you think I'll serve you." Her hand shot out cold as a corpse and slammed into his chest. Pain exploded through him, his knees, no, his whole body. Buckled, he reached for his sword, but his fingers were no longer fingers. Bone shifted, cracked, warped under his skin. The change came in waves, his forearms bulged, hands warping into hooked claws, his spine stretched, bowing him forward. Black fur erupted from his flesh like a living infection. His jaw thrust forward, teeth splitting his gums as they grew into jagged ivory spears. The room seemed smaller now, the ceiling lower, the air thicker. He crashed onto all fours, massive and heavy with muscle not his own. Claws gouged deep into the wooden floor. His breath came in guttural growls. The witch circled him again, her fingers sliding through the coarse black fur along his jaw. "Yes, my perfect hound, my hunter." Her scent filled his mind, a cloying mix of rotting flowers and old blood. Her voice tunneled into his thoughts. "Obey." She leaned close, whispering in his ear, Now you will prove yourself to me, and to Kael. The name echoed in the beast's skull, unfamiliar yet somehow hated. She opened the door to the night and pointed toward the forest. There is a man camped beyond the ridge. He carries something Kael desires. You will kill him and bring me his heart. The beast crouched low, claws tearing deep furrows into the threshold, muscles coiled, and then he was gone. A white-eyed shadow loping into the dark, the ground trembling under his charge. The kill was quick and terrible. The man never saw him coming. A single pounce flattened him to the earth, claws ripped through leather and flesh, jaws closed around his throat. Crushing bone in an instant, hot blood gushed over the beast's tongue, coppery, steaming, intoxicating. He fed on it like life itself. When he returned, the heart still warm in his jaws, the witch's lair reeked of blood before he even stepped inside. The witch's smile was rapture. You've done well, my hound. Kael will be pleased. The beast dropped the heart at her feet, blood spattering across the warped boards. He lowered his head, not in submission, but in a predator's watchfulness. Somewhere deep inside, Marcus clawed at the walls of his mind. This isn't me, God, help me. His claws punched splinters from the floor, his breath came in ragged snarls. The witch's praise was chains around his throat, dragging him deeper into the dark. The world seemed to hold its breath then. Lightning tore the roof apart with a deafening crack. The light struck him like a spear. A howl ripped from his throat. Not rage, but the sound of something being burned clean. His forelegs buckled, claws carving trenches into the floor. Shoulders hunched, head lowered like a predator forced to yield. The black fur smoked where the light touched it. Patches of white emerged, silver at the edges. His limbs shook violently. The beast's crouch gave way to a shuddering rise. Bones shifted again, dragging him upright against the creature's own nature. He faltered halfway, then forced himself higher upright again. But no man stood there. White fur blazed across his frame, traced with silver. Silver armor formed slowly, deliberately, as if hammered into place by unseen hands. A great golden cross flared to life on his breastplate, its brilliance forcing the witch to shield her eyes. A pale gold cloak spilled across his shoulders. In the air before him, a sword began to take shape, steel forged in radiance, its edge alive with golden flame. The voice came resonant, unshakable, echoing in his bones. Take the armor of God, wield the sword of my judgment, go where the darkness dwells, and bring my light. The last black fur curled into ash and vanished. Marcus gripped the sword, its warmth surging through him, not a burden, but a vow renewed. The witch screamed, her beauty shattered into something monstrous. Bolts of black fire struck his armor and died against the blazing cross. Marcus advanced. One swing of the flaming blade shredded her spells, another flooded every corner of the room with burning light. She tried to flee into shadow, but the light hunted her down. In 2 strides he was on her. You wanted a hound, he growled, ember gold eyes locked on hers. Now face the lion's wrath. The sword came down, golden fire swallowed her scream. When the light cleared, nothing remained but drifting ash. The cottage was gone. The clearing where Marcus now stood was a ruin of splintered wood and scorched earth, steam curling from the ashes. The rain hissed where it struck the smoldering ground. The flaming sword in his hand guttered, its fire drawing inward until only the metal glowed faintly his armor. Silver traced with gold gleamed in the dim light, unmarred despite the battle. His breath came slow, steady, powerful. But it was wrong, deeper, wilder. He glanced down at himself and froze, fur white as new falling snow tipped in faint silver paws. Not hands, his arms were longer, heavier with muscle, his chest broader, his legs built for a predator's spring. He could feel the movement of the wind over every hair, smell the sharp bite of ozone still lingering in the air. What am I? His own voice startled him, deeper, resonant, threaded with something primal. You are what you were meant to be. Marcus spun. A tall figure stood at the edge of the clearing, his form lean but strong, his movements fluid as water. A deep hood shadowed his face, but Marcus knew him instantly. The same man who had stepped from the trees earlier that day to warn him about the witch. You, Marcus said, his voice low. The man stepped forward, lowering his hood. His fur was the golden wheat shade of late summer fields. Short and smooth, his features were noble and sharp, framed by the proud bearing of a warrior who knew his worth. His eyes were a clear, piercing blue, intelligent and unflinching. He was an anthropomorphic retriever, though the thought crossed Marcus's mind that this was something he would never call himself. He was from heaven, not earth, and titles like dog did not belong to him. And you are, Marcus demanded, though he already suspected. The figure offered the faintest bow, Azarael, a messenger, a guide. His gaze swept over Marcus's transformed frame. And in your case, a trainer. Marcus bared his fangs in something between a snarl and a grimace. Trainer, I didn't ask for this. No, Azarael agreed softly. But heaven did, and when heaven calls, you either answer or you fall. Marcus took a step forward, the armor shifting lightly with his movement. You saying I'm stuck like this? Azarael's smile was faint. You are more than stuck, Marcus. You are remade. Your flesh is no longer human, and earthly weapons cannot harm you. For you are not of this earth any longer. You are heaven's warrior. You wear the strength of the host now. No steel forged by mortal hands will pierce you. No mortal plague will touch you, but the darkness, it will hunt you, harder than it ever hunted the man you were. Marcus's claws flexed involuntarily. And my soul? That, Azarael said, is yours to keep, or to lose, which is why we train. They moved deeper into the forest as the day wore on. Azarael's training was relentless. Speed first, he said. Strength is useless if the enemy moves faster than you can strike. Marcus ran until the wind roared in his ears and his breath steamed in the cool air. His claws tore through moss and soil, launching him forward in long, powerful strides. Again, Azarael called. Marcus growled but obeyed. Then came agility, dodging between trees at full speed, leaping over fallen logs, weaving through tight spaces with inches to spare. Use your ears, Azarael instructed. Your eyes will lie in the dark, your ears will not. Azarael stood with his arms folded, watching Marcus's labored breathing after another sprint. You've got speed, he said. Agility will come, but there's something else you're holding back. Marcus looked up, brow furrowed, holding what back? That voice inside you, Azarael said, tapping two fingers against his own throat. Not the growl, not the roar, something deeper, something that doesn't just scare an enemy, it breaks them. Marcus's ears twitched slightly. Azarael nodded. The Jericho howl, you felt it pressing at the edges of your chest, wanting to be let out. I felt something, Marcus admitted slowly. That's it, Azarael said. It's not just instinct, it's divine resonance. The same force that brought down the walls of Jericho runs through you. It's not a sound they hear, it's a sound they feel, bones, blood, and spirit. Marcus tilted his head. And how exactly do I do it? Azarael stepped closer, voice lowering as though imparting a sacred secret. You draw in more than air, you take in the fight itself. The threat, the injustice, the fury, and you channel it through the armor, through the calling heaven gave you. Then you let it out, not as a scream, not as rage, but as judgment. Marcus' gaze narrowed, and what happens when I use it? A slow, wolfish smile spread across Azarael's face. Walls break, enemies scatter, and anything still standing will wish it hadn't stayed. Marcus exhaled through his nose, the faintest curl of a grin tugging at his muzzle. Sounds useful. It's more than useful, Azarael said, stepping back to give him space. It's your signature. The Shadow Court will learn to fear it long before they see you. By the time the sun dipped behind the trees, they moved on to combat drills, sword against sword, strike against strike, Azarael meeting every blow with infuriating precision. You fight like a man, Azarael taunted between clashes. I am a man, Marcus snapped, forcing him back a step. Not anymore, Azarael countered, spinning his blade to catch Marcus's next swing. Man's thinking will get you killed in the body you wear now. They fought until the stars pricked the night sky. Finally, as they sat by a small fire, Azarael broke the silence. You're not ready, but you will be. And when you are, we'll start with something small. Marcus eyed him suspiciously. Small. Azarael's lips curved into a wolfish grin of his own. An outpost of the Shadow Court, only 30 or so. We'll let them know you're coming. The next day dawned gray and wet, the mist clinging low to the ground as they moved through the moor. The grass whispered underfoot, slick with the night's rain. Marcus's pale gold cloak trailed behind him, catching droplets that rolled into the fur at his shoulders. Azarael walked ahead, bow in hand, gaze fixed on the horizon. Tell me about them, Marcus said after a long stretch of silence. The Shadow Court, Azarael's tone shifted, less casual, more wary. They aren't just a band of cutthroats with fancy banners. They're the old nobility's rot-made flesh lords and generals who traded their souls for power when the light drove them from their thrones. They deal in binding magic, blood oaths and fear. Every outpost you see like the one ahead. He pointed with the bow. It's less about defense and more about feeding that corruption. And the leader? Marcus asked. Azarael's jaw tightened. Kael, once a high commander in the old wars, brilliant, ruthless, utterly without conscience. The perfect general, if you ignore the trail of burning villages in his wake. He vanished after the last rebellion fell apart. The next time anyone saw him, he wore the Shadow Court's colors. And their power. What kind of power? The kind that doesn't bleed like you think it should, Azarael said darkly. And the kind that doesn't stay dead unless you make it. Marcus adjusted the strap on his breastplate, and we're walking straight into his territory. Azarael's smirk returned. No, we're announcing ourselves. They drew closer to the outpost, staying low between rocks and patches of brush. Marcus could smell them before he saw them. Sweat, blood magic, and the damp reek of unwashed bodies. 2 sentries patrolled the wall. One yawned, leaning on his pike. The other stopped mid-step, squinting toward the moor, his hand shot up. Oi, you see that? The yawner glanced over. Some kind of wolf. Azarael muttered without looking back, "Here we go." The first guard grinned, teeth filed to sharp points. "That's no normal beast, pretty little thing. All white and shiny. Let's see how he runs when we chase him." The gates creaked open just far enough for a half-dozen soldiers to shuffle out. They wore scavenged armor, chain under cracked breastplates, leather stitched with mismatched steel, black veins pulsed faintly under their skin. The leader, a brute with a notched axe-eyed Marcus. Well, Snowhound wandered out of the hills, another soldier chimed in, and he's brought his golden retriever friend. Marcus's muzzle curled into something just shy of a snarl, and a pack of mongrels wandered out of the gutter. The brute grinned wider. "Bold, let's see if you still talk when we break your legs." Azarael leaned in just enough for Marcus to hear. "You know, this is the perfect time to try that Jericho howl." Marcus arched a brow. "What?" Instead of knocking. Azarael grinned exactly, give them the full cathedral bells treatment, just a little louder. Marcus's mouth twitched in spite of himself. "Fine, but if this collapses the whole place on top of us, that's on you." "Oh, I'll take the credit," Azarael said with mock solemnity. Marcus stepped forward slowly, the golden cross on his breastplate catching the faint light. Last chance to walk away. Their laughter was harsh and ugly, the kind that came before a killing. Marcus inhaled deeply, every muscle in his frame drawing tight. The golden light in his eyes flared. Then he unleashed the Jericho howl. It wasn't just a roar, it was judgment itself. The air detonated with a force that rippled outward, turning the very ground against the enemy. The moor heaved and split, earth trembling like a living thing in revolt beneath his large paws. The outpost shuddered on its foundations, blackened walls bowed outward before splintering, timber snapping like bones. Watchtowers lurched, spilling guards who screamed as they fell. The heavy gate, reinforced and barred, burst apart in an explosion of light and splinters. Shadow magic peeled away from the wood, burning off in ribbons of blinding fire. The sound struck the soldiers like a hammer blow to the soul. Several dropped their weapons outright, shaking uncontrollably. Others screamed and turned to flee, stumbling over one another in blind panic. Only a handful, those two bound by the court's dark magic to run, stayed rooted, pale and trembling. When the howl faded, silence gripped the moor, broken only by the groan of collapsing wood. Azarael lowered his bow, grinning, "Best door knock I've ever heard." The handful who remained alive didn't last long. Marcus and Azarael cut them down with brutal precision, leaving the outpost in ruin. Marcus stood in the shattered gate, breath steaming in the cold air, his mouth curled faintly, too loud. Azarael joined him, bow still in hand, just loud enough. Marcus looked back toward the smoldering ruins. They'll think twice before showing their faces again. Azarael's gaze hardened. The ones who ran won't live long enough. At the Shadow Court stronghold, the great hall was lit by sickly green torches, shadows dancing over black stone. At the far end, Kael sat on a throne of iron and bone, his massive frame swathed in a cloak as dark as pitch. His helm was shaped like a snarling beast, but the eyes beneath glowed faint gold, cold, calculating, and cruel.
Before him knelt the soldiers who had fled. They shook under his gaze. One tried to speak, but Kael raised a hand and the man's voice caught in his throat. "You ran," Kael said, his voice deep and measured, but edged like a drawn blade from a single howl. The soldier tried again. "My lord, it was no ordinary howl." Kael's blade moved faster than the man could finish. The head hit the stone floor with a wet thud. "You think I care for excuses?" Kael's gaze swept over the others. "The hound wears the light of heaven, and you disgrace my banner." He rose slowly, towering over them. "Hear me well, I will find this beast, I will strip him of his light. I will hang his pelt from these walls, and his bones will feed the hounds that follow me." The remaining soldiers trembled. Some wept. Kael leaned down, his voice dropping to a deadly whisper. "Run if you can, wolf, but know this. There is nowhere in this world, nor the next, that you can hide from me." Marcus and Azarael left the smoldering ruin of the outpost behind and followed the moor until the ground sloped into a narrow gully. A thin creek wound through it, water whispering over slick stones. Azarael stopped at the bank and dropped his pack. "Before we stop for the night," he said, "you're going in there." Marcus blinked at him. "Excuse me?" Azarael wrinkled his nose. "You reek blood, sweat, ash, smoke, and whatever it is Shadow Court soldiers marinate in." Marcus grunted. "I've been worse, and I've smelled worse." Azarael said cheerfully, "That doesn't mean I want to travel with it." Marcus sighed and began unbuckling the plates of his armor. It was slow work, every strap and clasp stubborn from rain and battle grime. The pale gold cloak came off last, and Azarael caught it before it touched the dirt. "I'll keep this dry for you," Azarael said with mock formality. "Heaven forbid the night's precious blanket get muddy." Marcus rolled his eyes and stepped into the creek. The cold struck instantly. Biting at the pads of his feet, he lowered himself slowly, the water swirling through the thick fur on his legs. Azarael lounged on the bank, watching with far too much interest. "It's funny," he said, "you still move like a man when you bathe. Careful, hesitant, like you're worried about modesty." Marcus rumbled a low growl. "Some of us still have dignity." "You're a wolf the size of a war horse," Azarael said. "The fish aren't impressed." Marcus ignored him, dipping his furred paw-like hands into the water. His thick fingers closed around the cool current, scooping it up and running it over his muzzle. The sensation was strange, the soft leather-like pads against his own fur, the weight of the water clinging before dripping away. He caught his reflection in the rippling surface and froze. The face staring back was both alien and familiar. Golden eyes glowed faintly in the dusk. His muzzle was long, strong, marked by the faint silver accents in his fur. The rounded, furred ears stood alert even in stillness. His paw-like hands, capable and strong, rested on the water's surface. Not a man. Not anymore. He exhaled slowly, then ducked his head under the surface, the cold rushing over his fur like a cleansing blade. When he rose, water streamed from him in rivulets pattering into the creek. Azarael chuckled. "Careful, you'll flood the whole gully." Marcus shook himself once, sending a spray in Azarael's direction. Azarael sputtered, "I deserve that." Marcus smirked faintly. "Yes, you did." They made camp on a dry patch near the bank, the smell of pine resin curling from their small fire. The night was quiet, but the memory of the outpost lingered between them. And in the distance, unseen eyes were already turning their way.